I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you everyone for joining us this evening. We have a lot of wonderful people to recognize. Mr. Hastings, would you please call the roll?
Dalton.
Here.
Mrs. Dam.
Here.
Yeoman.
Here.
Mrs. McGovern.
Here.
Mr. Schneider.
Here.
Mrs. Stevens.
Here.
Mrs. Talarico. Mr. Weinstein.
Here.
Mr. McCarthy.
Here. President's report, I have nothing. Student representatives report.
Hi. So right now, the class officers are currently working on setting up a school-wide dance that's scheduled for March 21st. DECA recently had their district competition at the beginning of the month, and 12 individuals and 3 partnerships qualified for the state competition in Atlantic City in March. And we also have a bunch of written competitions, people signing up and entering that way. The Key Club just closed their ASPCA supply drive and will be having a volunteer event at lunch break in Red Bank. The Drama Club had their first movie night fundraiser last night for the spring musical, Little Shop of Horrors. The Student Council started to plan the Spring Blood Drive, which is the second one of the year, and also is beginning to brainstorm ideas for the Spartan Olympics and the Spring Pep Rally. The Yearbook Club recently finished all fall sports and activities and is starting their work on the work with winter events.
So in sports, the girls basketball team has had a lot of tough games so far this season, but they're working very hard and a lot of underclassmen leaders. The boys basketball team has had close games recently and a huge win against undefeated Shore Regional at the beginning of the month, who they also played again today at 4-1. The hockey team has had a great season. They are currently 5th in the Shore Conference and are 11-2-1. They have a big rivalry game tomorrow versus Bridgewater Raritan. The boys bowling team is currently 11-4 with a lot of big wins, and they are second in their division. The girls bowling team is 3-1 and first in their division. And the swimming team has had their senior night tonight at the JCC and has had a fantastic season, and they are looking to beat the division champs. The wrestling team is having a great season and are 13-2 and second in their division and has had a huge match against Barnegat yesterday.
Thank you, ladies. Appreciate that. Now we'll move on to our superintendent's report. Mrs. Weldon.
Thank you, Mr. McCarthy. Good evening, everyone. It's so wonderful to see such a full audience this evening. We're very excited to recognize the great achievements of our staff and students over the last few months. I would like at this time to invite our principals and administrators that are here to recognize our Teachers of the Year and Educator Special Services Professionals of the Year to join me up front before we begin. And President McCarthy is also going to join us. And although she couldn't be here this evening, the leadership of the Township of Ocean Educators Association also shares in expressing well wishes to these fine professionals who we are about to honor. So I'm going, when I call your name, staff, I would just ask you to come up. You can come this way through here so you can shake your hand right down the line. Your principal has a certificate for you, and then I would ask you to stay up here because I would like to get a group shot and I want to leave time for families who may want to take some photos. So again, we're going to start by recognizing both our Teachers of the Year and our Educator Services Professionals of the Year. When you hear your name, please come forward. Mr. Carl Lawson from Ocean Township Elementary School. Mrs. Michelle Conklin, Teacher of the Year from Ocean High School. That way? Yeah. Mrs. Jessica Kerber, Teacher of the Year from Ocean Township Intermediate School. Mrs. Mary Ellen Phillips, Teacher of the Year from Wanamassa Elementary School. And Mrs. Kristen McKenna, Teacher of the Year from Wayside Elementary School. Okay, now for our Educational Services Professionals of the Year. Mrs. Samantha Whalen from Ocean Township Elementary School. Mrs. Caitlin Zimmerman from Ocean Township High School. Mrs. Lori Delgado McNally from Wanamassa Elementary School. I do not think she's here this evening, but we'd like to recognize her. Also, Mrs. Amanda Komek could not be here this evening from Wayside Elementary School. Thank you. And Mrs. Jenna Daddario from Township of Ocean Intermediate School. Congratulations to all. If you would get together for a group shot, please. And then if any families would like to come up and take this picture or any others, we'll give you a few minutes to do that. So come on up. Yeah. Go ahead. If someone wants the group shot, the alone shot.
I like this. On the board that I love. Yeah. Wonderful to honor them.
Everybody here? Okay, I know I speak for the Board of Education as well when I thank all of you for your committed service to our district and to our students. We are incredibly grateful to have you as part of our Spartan family. Thank you so much and congratulations. Okay, principals, you can stay up. We have a few more recognitions this evening.
Got one more picture.
Oh, one more picture. Go ahead. Go ahead.
All right.
No, go.
No, don't apologize.
Pictures, pictures.
This is
Go
your
ahead.
time.
Gotta take your pictures. Okay, our next honoree, I would like to congratulate our head wrestling coach, Coach Sip Apicelli, for his 200th coaching win in wrestling this past December 18th against Hillsborough. That is an incredible accomplishment. Congratulations, Coach Apicelli. All right, let's get a picture over here. If you want to have your family in there, Mrs. Hagerman, if you'd like to join, whatever we want to do here. It's in the way. You're good. Yeah. Very nice. Ready? Yeah. Perfect.
Your picture.
Okay. Congratulations. Okay, next in our performing arts world, I'd like to recognize two students. I'm going to ask you to come up and then I'm going to talk about your accomplishments. David Furta and Samantha Pagnoni, if you're here, please come forward to receive, and Mrs. Hagerman has a certificate for you. One thing, David might not be here, so if you come over here, and Mrs. Hagerman, if you would join her as well for a photo. Samantha has been selected by the Central Jersey Music Educators Association as second chair trumpet in symphonic bands and fifth chair trumpet in the orchestra. And the All Shore Jazz Band has selected her as trumpet 5 in the A band. These are incredible accomplishments. She applied with students from multiple counties and was accepted to perform in these bands. We are so impressed by her achievements. Congratulations. And David Furta, who was not here this evening, had similar accomplishments. He's been accepted as well by both associations to their ensembles. And their teacher, Mr. Kyle Titmus, who I do not believe is here, was named as an all-shore band conductor. So we can congratulate him as well. Okay, now we would like to recognize our Paul McGrade Geography B winners at the Township of Ocean Intermediate School. First, I'd like to introduce our second place winner, Andrew Hurtado, 8th grader. Is Andrew here? I wasn't sure. Okay, congratulations, Andrew. And our first place winner, a 5th grader, Vitaly Burdoff. Come on up, Vitaly. Mom, come on up for a photo. Come on up. I'm so excited.
Oh, look at it.
Oh, yes. It's okay.
Oh, look how cute. He's just-
Congratulations, Vitaly. Very proud of you. Good job. Okay. Now we're going to recognize our spelling bee champions. We're starting with our 4th grade winners. I'd like to recognize from Wanamassa Elementary School, Hayden Hinman, and I believe his teacher, Ms. Jen Reiser, and Mrs. So are here to support him as well. Congratulations, Hayden. Go ahead over. I'm going to keep calling names, but then we'll take pictures as well. From Ocean Township Elementary School, Nico Pisani. Nico. His teacher, Mr. Palermo, is here as well to support Nico. And from Wayside Elementary School, Tariq Ozcan, who's here this evening, I believe. Come on up, Tariq. And his teacher, Mrs. Megan Doyle, is here to support him. Parents, if you want to come up and take some pictures, boys, you can come back up. I don't want you to miss this chance. Tariq, I'm so sorry. Tariq. Sorry. Thank you. We have those already. No, one more. 8th grade. 8th grade's coming big. I know. Okay, and our final recognition of the evening is our TOIS 8th grade spelling bee winners. We're going to start with 3rd place, Ethan Zhu. I think is Ethan here? Our second place winner, Landon Clark. And our first place winner, Jake Vidal. Jake. Let's take some pictures. Yeah, come on up, come on up. Congratulations, Jake. I'd also just like to recognize our supervisors, Mr. Schwartz and Mrs. Shapiro, who helped put on the spelling bee in all of our schools. It's a lot of work, but we love to see the recognition here, and we thank you very much for your hard work. Hey, if anyone would like to get a last photo or two in, otherwise, you're welcome to stay with us for the remainder of the evening, but if you have a lot of homework or you need to get home, this would be a good time in the meeting to make your exit. Congratulations again, everyone.
That's a great job.
Good on you, sir. Good to see you as well. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for coming. Appreciate it. Absolutely.
Absolutely. I don't know. Congratulations. Thank you.
Should be very proud.
I think that's special. So, yeah, no, I work in such an office.
Oh. Congratulations. You should be very proud of yourself.
So great to see you again.
Yeah.
I guess.
How many more years till we can put them on the
Oh,
Proud.
that's my new running mate.
Yeah, exactly.
That was fifth grade.
That concludes my report. Mr.
Thank you,
McCarthy.
Mrs. Weldon. Mr. Hasty, School Business Administrator's report, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have nothing to add to the report we made at the workshop. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. We will now move on to public comments. Oh. I'm getting locked out. Okay, there we go. Paper copy. Gotta love it. We're going analog. Following are a series of motions to be read by, nope, that's not it. Sorry. Public participation in board meetings. Board of Education recognizes the value of public comment on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the public to express themselves on school matters of community interest. Public comment is not a question and answer session. Specific questions can be directed to the administration. The superintendent's contact information is on the podium, and we encourage you to contact her with any questions. Public participation shall be governed by the following rules. Each statement made by a participant shall be limited to 5 minutes in duration. No participant may speak more than once on the same topic until all others who wish to speak on that topic have been heard. The presiding officer may request any person to leave the meeting when that person does not observe reasonable decorum. Would anyone from the public like to comment on any agenda item at this time? Mrs. Conway, do we have anyone in the queue?
Yes, Mr. President, we have Alex Hayes. Please go ahead.
Mrs. Hayes, thank you.
Hi, good evening. This is in regards to agenda items only. So I know that there were, I think, 2 contracts for senior administrators up for discussion today. That's wonderful. I'm just wondering, where do we stand on the assistant superintendent for special services? Wondering if that has been moved to a directorship position, which if I could opine, I think it should be. I think it's an active director now or an active assistant super for special services still since about June or July of last year. I don't think I've missed a meeting and I don't think I've seen this person ever come before the board. So, I mean, I'm wondering, are we looking for a replacement for the previous person who was the assistant super for special ed? Are we keeping this temp person? That's kind of my generic questions. Secondly, Ms. Talarico and Mr. Schneider, I don't see as chair of any committees on the committee list today, which of course is interesting when some school board members have 2 or 3 committees that they're on, or rather chairing, actually. In New Jersey School Ethics Commission, AO, that's advisory opinion number 0523, which was specifically written about our district. May I remind you that this district, you have conflicted members who are, again, serving on committees, once again, where there may be a direct familial conflict. And this flagrantly disregards the rules of that AO 0523. May I also remind you that the head of the School Ethics Commission said last year, in regards to a topic about this district, that I quote, "School districts that don't abide by advisory opinions do so at their own peril." So with not 1, but 2 lengthy ethics complaints facing members of the school board, one would think that the rules would kind of be important, but I guess not always with this board, as has been demonstrated a few times before. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Hayes. Mrs. Conway, do we have anyone else in the queue?
No, there are no further commenters.
Thank you, Mrs. Conway. We'll move on to Mr. Dalton for the approval of minutes.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to approve the minutes from our executive session last week, January 21st, item 5.1.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
This is item 5.1, Mr. Dalton,
Yes.
Mrs. Dam,
Yes.
Mrs. Gilman,
Yes.
Mrs. McGovern,
Yes.
Mr. Schneider. I abstain. Ms. Stevens,
Yes.
Mr. Weinstein,
Yes.
and Mr. McCarthy.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Personnel.
I move to approve items 6.1 through 6.8. May I have a second?
Second.
All items 6.1 through 6.8, Mr. Dalton,
Yes.
Mrs. Dam,
Yes.
Mrs. Gilman,
Yes to all recused from 6.5.
thank you. Mrs. McGovern.
Yes.
Mr. Schneider,
Yes.
Ms. Stevens,
Yes.
Mr. Weinstein.
Yes.
Mr. McCarthy.
Yes.
Motion's carried.
Financial Management and Resource Services, Mr. Weinstein.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to move for approval 7.1 to 7.12.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
All items 7.1 to 7.12, Mr. Dalton,
Yes.
Ms. Dam,
Yes.
Mrs. Gilman,
Yes to all recused from 7.10.
Mrs. McGovern,
Yes to all recused from 7.10.
Mr. Schneider,
Yes.
Ms. Stevens,
Yes.
Mr. Weinstein,
Yes to all, except I'll recuse myself from 7.10.
and Mr. McCarthy.
Yes, to all except I will also recuse myself from 7.10.
Motion's carried.
Thank you. Instruction, Education, and Student Activities, Mrs. Gilman.
Thank you, President McCarthy. Move to approve items 8.1 through 8.5.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you.
So all items 8.1 to 8.5, Mr. Dalton,
Yes.
Mrs. Dam,
Yes.
Mrs. Gilman,
Yes.
Mrs. McGovern,
Yes.
Mr. Schneider,
Yes.
Ms. Stevens,
Yes.
Mr. Weinstein,
Yes, except, do I have to recuse myself from 8.3? It's, Jeff, didn't you, as well?
We've never done that before.
No?
Mr. Hastings, I don't think so.
I don't believe so.
All right, I'm in favor of them all.
Mr. McCarthy,
Yes.
items carried.
Moving on to policy, Mrs. Gilman.
Yes, President McCarthy.
You
Resolved that
can come and sit down if you guys would
Yes,
like.
yes.
Please feel free to join us. Thank you.
Resolved that the board approve the third reading and final revision to policy 4420.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Stevens.
For policy 10.1, Mr. Dalton,
Yes.
Mrs. Dan,
Yes.
Mrs. Gilman,
Yes.
Mrs. McGovern,
Yes.
Mr. Schneider,
Yes.
Ms. Stevens,
Yes.
Mr. Weinstein,
Yes.
Mr. McCarthy,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. At this point, I would like to ask if I have any, yes.
May I
let's-
interrupt? I'm
please,
so
feel
sorry.
free.
But I would like to just recognize a student who just
Wonderful.
arrived. If
Let's
I may
do
do
that.
that just for a moment. So I'd like to ask Mr. Amato to come back up and we are going to recognize one more spelling bee champion from the Township of Ocean Intermediate School. Ethan Zhu, please come on up. Ethan? And family, come on up as well. If you'd like to take some photos. We'd like to congratulate you.
No. Very. That's intermediate school. Oh, very nice.
Congratulations.
Very nice.
Okay, thank you very much.
And thank you all for joining us. You don't have to stay for the remainder of the meeting, but you are more than welcome if you would like to. All right, thank you. Thank you. Wonderful. Appreciate that. I would like to open up the opportunity for any member of the board to discuss any old business. Business. Okay, wonderful. I would now like to open up the opportunity for any member of the board to discuss any new business. Do I have any new business for members of the board? All right. Final public comments. The Board of Education recognizes the value of public comment on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the public to express themselves on school matters of community interest. This is not a question and answer session. Specific questions can be directed to the administration, and the superintendent's contact information is on the podium and available on our district website. We encourage you to contact her with any questions that you may have. Participation shall be governed by the same rules as mentioned at the beginning of this meeting. Limited to 5 minutes in duration. No participant may speak more than once on the same topic until all others have had the opportunity to speak. And the presiding officer may request that any person in the meeting who does not observe reasonable decorum depart said meeting. Would anyone from the public who is present here like to make a comment on any item at this time? Wonderful. Mrs. Conway, do we have anyone in the queue?
Yes, President McCarthy, Alex Hayes.
Thank you. Mrs. Hayes, please go ahead.
Please go ahead.
Hi, thank you again, Alex Hayes from Oakhurst. Mr. Hastings, last week, I asked the question about the roof contractor upping the price. Just wondering if, excuse me, if you could get back to me via email, that works, that's fine, about, how that price adjustment affected their winning bid. If that's a possibility I hadn't seen anything in my email, so if I have missed it, please let me know. That was the first comment. Second comment and or question is, town hall officials have verified with me that Mr. Weinstein, school board member, submitted his application for the open town council meeting town council seat rather, that was vacated by Miss Kelly Terry. So I was just wondering, a couple questions. If anyone else put in their name for council on the school board, also asking partially because this is the second time, if not the third time, Mr. Weinstein has thrown in his hat for town council while he's been a sitting school board member. So, if successful, that would leave his seat on the school board open, and could kind of throw, the balance of majority, minority, or, a new, putting in a new person if he does get successful on the council. So, wondering if Mr. Weinstein received, interviews. I think the public has a right to know. And also it brings up some concerns I might have, as do others, about board member political aspirations and what their priorities are. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mrs. Hayes. Mrs. Conway, do we have any other commenters in the queue?
No, Mr. President, there are no further commenters.
Very well. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you.